Alright, I'm back. First year as full-time pro on Full Tilt Poker? Yes. Chaha, it was on Full Tilt Poker where I started. And then I was a pro for like 1.5 years. And then Black Friday hit. And then I moved to PokerStars. Alright. You're not timed out, right, 3bet? You can still ask questions. Yeah, he's still there, guys. What are you talking about? Alright, let's go. Let's do this review. So it's much quicker than a game. I think there's like 50 hands here. 43 hands. I'm just going to review 3bet's play, so I'm not going to look at the whole, every single hand. That's a waste of time. Okay, aces, good raise size. Well, this is a very easy decision. Yep, well done. Alright, I usually don't look at the results, but I'll show the results for you guys. We won, yay. I had been on Full Tilt Friday happened. I hope you didn't have much money in there. I had about 8 grand on Full Tilt when it got shut down, which it took me 2 years to get back. Do you do anything other than poker? Yeah, just random jobs here and there. I don't have a path yet, Beans AA. I'm just kind of chilling, seeing what happens. I have a wife, so she's got a job too. If you lost, that was going to be a quick review. Yep. Good call here. The pot odds here, you can see up here, it's 5 to 1 and it converts it directly into a percentage. So it's 16.7%. So if you think you can win the pot 16.7% of the time with this hand, then it's a profitable call. But there are other things you need to think about, like, well, how good are you actually going to play this hand? Because you will be out of position and you'll have a weak ace. So you don't have to call every single time you get this situation if you're not confident. If you have a very bad hand like 8-5 offsuit, yeah, you might be getting 5 to 1, but if you're really not strong playing post flop, you're a new player, it's fine to just fold. So this is a really important lesson in small pots and multi-way pots is you're yes, you have a pretty strong hand, but you should not be trying to go all in with this. You have top pair, but your kicker's quite weak. And it's very possible that Mora Columbia could have like an ace 10, ace 8, and you're crushed. You've got 3 outs. Same thing with Smart John 0 over here. He could also have ace 10, ace jack, ace king, ace queen. So your hand is good. You might want to call some bets, some small bets, but if it looks like these two guys really like their hand and they're like bet, 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 big bets, you should just give it up. Hi Slippery 3, welcome back, man. We're in the middle of a 180-man review of a turbo tournament. I believe it's turbo from 3betnutz, who sent me this last week. Alright, so Mura Columbia made a c-bet of 80 and we got a call out of the small blind. I think this is worth a call because Mura Columbia just could be c-betting with missed hand like king queen, king jack. He could have flush draw. It's possible he has us beat. Same thing with Smart John. He could have us beat with a better ace. He could also have like an 8 or a flush draw. So I think it's worth at least seeing a turn card here for just 80 chips. So I don't really like the fold, but similar to what I just said, if you're not comfortable and you're not confident, then folding here isn't a mistake. It's perfectly fine. It might look really nitty, but that's fine, guys. We're playing micro stakes, so you're not going to make a lot of money in pots like that. You can only lose a lot of money in pots like that, and you never want to lose a lot. It's a turbo, alright. Thanks, 3bet. Good. You want to play this hand. A suited king in the small blind is pretty strong. So you can limp and you can also raise. Both options are fine. I would usually raise, but that's because I'm a bit more confident playing pots out of position, and I don't mind raising it up and being aggressive, but limping is a good option. Well, whenever you have a pair and a flush draw, it's a great hand. So you want to be betting. Good size. 20 is fine. Anywhere between 20 and 40 here is good for me. Alright, nice pot. I kind of felt like someone had a better ace. Didn't feel it in my guts. That's fine, 3bet. If you... Yeah, like I said, if you're not comfortable with your hand, just give it up, man. You don't want to risk losing 1,000 chips in a spot like that. You're never going to win a lot, but you can easily lose a lot, and you don't want to do that if you're not comfortable. Okay, King Jack suited. I think I want to play this. Ooh, I don't want to play it anymore. After a raise and a re-raise, we're just folding. Good fold. If it was just a single raise, I would have called. Okay, good. Ace Jack's good enough here to raise against limper. Now, the rule against limpers, guys, is you want to make it whatever your normal raise size is, and then you add one big blind for every limper. So here, my normal raise size would have been 90. But we've got one limper, so I would actually make this raise 120. That would be my size here. So a little bit small in my opinion, but again, it's not a huge mistake. You're doing the right thing by raising. I would just make it 120. Alright, so it's a heads up pot, and a good rule for you guys to remember is whenever you're playing no limit hold'em and you have an unpaired hand, you're going to hit a pair on the flop around 1 out of 3 times. So think of all those flops that you raise like this and you miss completely. It's also very likely that the other guy has also missed. So if you guys don't have a draw, the first one to bet is going to win. So that's why being the aggressive one and being the first one to bet, especially if it's checked to you and you're in position, you always want to try and do that. So here is a good example. You raise pre-flop, you are the one that's representing the strongest hand. He has the weakest hand here, because he just called and then he just called the raise. And he checked to you again. So you need to continue the story and say, I've got a strong hand, and c-bet here, even though you don't have anything. And it's also a good board because the 4 and the 3 aren't cards that are going to hit his range. Think about the kind of hands that he's limping and calling with. They don't have 4s and 3s in them. They're hands like Queen Jack, Jack 10, King Jack, maybe the 8-9, the 10-9, hands like that, the middle to high. And if he doesn't have a king, he's just folding here. So I like your c-bet. I would personally make it a little bit bigger, because I think a smaller bet might entice him to call here with a bit of a wider range, and I kind of just want to win the hand now. I don't want to have to barrel again. So I would maybe go for just half pot of 110, but 90 is fine, you know, whatever. Well done. So far, I don't really disagree with anything you've done. Now, raising King Jack offsuit here, in a 9-handed table, in early position, it's usually just a fold, especially if it's offsuit. If it was suited, I'd be much more likely to raise, or if there were antes. But there are no antes here, and it's offsuit. Even though you have a big stack, there's just not that much of an incentive for you to raise this loose into 7 players, because there's only 45 chips in there, and there are no antes. So I would just fold this pre-flop. If you did want to raise, your standard size should be 90 chips, or at least 75. 60 is a bit too small. What do I do if the person I'm heads up with always calls my c-bets with everything and continues to put pressure on being super splashy? Slippery 3, if you encounter people like that, the best thing to do is only c-bet if you're happy continuing betting. Like, only c-bet if you actually have a hand. If you only have ace high, or you didn't hit your hand, just give it up, just check. And try and see a free turn card. Against loose, splashy players, the strategy is wait for a hand, and then when you do have a hand, bet, 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 bet. Okay, so I would have made it, I would have folded, and then if I did decide to raise, I would have made it 90. Call, call, call. Now we're three-way. So this is a, if this was a heads-up pot, I don't mind a C-bet, because on a monotone board, monotone means one color, so on a one color board, in a heads-up pot, if he doesn't have a spade, he's just folding, probably. But in a three-way pot, it's more likely that at least one of them has a spade. So I'm not going to C-bet this. I would just give it up. It's not really worth calling the 30 chips here, I think, because there's a guy behind you that might raise. Even if you hit the king or the jack of spades, you're probably behind. So I would just fold here. You're playing pretty good, 3bet. No big mistakes so far, 3bet nuts. Well, it only costs us 20 chips here, so we only need to win this pot around a quarter of the time, and we have position. And having position in No Limit Hold'em is very, very important, because you get to see what the other guy does before you make your decision on every street. So I would call the min raise here and see a flop, and that's what you did. That's good. This is a really bad flop, so I'm just done with it. Okay, he checked to you. Is it worth trying to steal it from him, or should we just give up? I think it's worth a small bet here. It's very unlikely that you'll win the hand if you check, because he might just attack and you have to fold. So the only way you're going to win this is by betting, and because he showed weakness already by checking, he might have something like ace 10 or ace 2 or king, I don't know, king queen that he's just going to fold. So I would go for a bet here and try and take it. But I don't think checking is a big mistake. It's just a little way for you to maybe win. I do like that you decided to bet the turn after he checks to you twice. When people check twice, it's really weak. So I like the turn bet. Now that he called, you're just done with it. Don't put any more chips in. Well done. Yeah. See, I think if you bet the flop, he might have just folded this hand. But that's okay. No big mistakes there. It only cost you a small bet. I can see your comments, 3bet nuts. You're doing very well so far. Thanks for joining the stream, Narenyi. Have a good night. Get a walk, that's good. Okay, all in, can't call that. Ace king. We're definitely going broke with this hand. Yep, well done. You made the correct play here. Lost a flip, that's going to happen. Okay, ace 6, 9-4, king 2, 7-2. We're getting 7-1, but our hand is really bad, and it cost us 150 chips, and we only have 1285. So I like your fold. I don't want to invest more than 10% of my stack here to try and flop 2 pair or something, because even if you flop 1 pair, you're not that happy about it. Ooh, this is a pretty big mistake. This is the biggest mistake you've made so far. Whenever you're blind versus blind, and it's folded to you, and you have less than 10 big blinds, you should be pushing all in. Even with a hand much worse than this, like a 3-5 offsuit, I would push all in here. And the reason is, there is 225 chips in the middle, and your stack is 1210. So what's that? Around 18%. There's 18% of your stack out there already for you to try and win. And think about the hands that he's going to call you with. It's my cat is going crazy. It's hands that are quite strong. He's only going to call you with ace X hands, pairs, broadways, so around 25% of the time. Hang on one second. Sorry guys, I'm back. Cat blocked, yep. The cat rules my life. You won 2 9-man turbos in a row. Mike, that is incredible, man. Good job. Thanks, Sharp Wing Duck. Thanks for following, man. Alright, so think about the hands he's going to call you. If you push all in here, it's quite a big push. So he's probably only going to call you with aces, ace X hands, and pairs, and strong broadways, around a 25% range. So I'll do the range 30 in chat. Did that work? It's probably a bit lagged. Something like that. So most of the time, he's going to fold and you're going to win that stack. So you can actually do a calculation like Slippery3 saying with Hold'em resources and see exactly what we should be pushing here depending on his call range. I'm going to get the exact hand, so okay, is this it? 7 of clubs, king of hearts. Is Nightbot dead? Oh, Nightbot died. Alright, he's back now. Alright, make sure you guys can see this. Yeah. Alright, so this is ICMizer. It's the links in my description below. And it's an ICM program which will help you calculate what you should push and call and fold depending on your opponents. So I'm going to paste, I copied the particular hand that we're doing, the King 7 offsuit. I copied it to my clipboard. I'm going to load it here into the website. And here it is. So we're in a small blind. We have to estimate what the big blind is going to call us with if we push all in. I think it's going to change depending on the player, depending on the stakes. He's probably calling any ace, any pair, but I doubt he's going to call like King 2 suited here for 8 big blinds. He's not calling Jack 10 off. He's not calling Queen 10 off. Let's look at the hand again. Oh. So if we push all in here, does he call with King 9 suited? I think he probably does. I think this range is pretty good. So let's put that one in there, 26%. And then we're trying to figure out what our push range is. So you just click calculate. And it's telling us to push any 2 cards when we estimate he calls 26%. So there you go. That's why you should push there with any 2 cards. Now this is an example of how to do this calculation. You can do this with many other situations if you're on the button, if you want to know whether you should call or not. but it will involve a little bit of work because you have to estimate what these guys will call you with and put it into the program. This particular one, I think, allows a few free calculations a day on the website, but if you want to do a lot, it's like a paid program. But down below in the description, there is a free program called ICM Trainer, which uses the same concept, uses the same model, but it's a bit more simplified, and it's like a training program, so there's no customization. Anyway, yeah, so therefore we discovered this hand is an any two cards push. Any two cards. Just going to catch up with the chat a little bit. I don't think I understand how to compare pot odds with card odds equity and how to compare quickly to take that decision. Alright, 3bet. I'll work on your pot odds and card odds. Okay, so pot odds are up here. It's just, well, this is a bad example because there's no call. But let's say it costs you 100 to call and the pot is 200. It means you're getting 2-to-1 pot odds, and you can convert that to 33%. So you add the 2-to-1 to get 3, and you go 1 out of 3 is 33%. And then to figure out whether your hand has the correct equity, you need an equity calculator. Now, there's some online. I'm going to quickly open up a program that I have, which is another free program, which is an equity calculator. But you can just Google poker equity calculator and you have the same thing. So you just put in whatever hand you have. Let's go 9-8 off, and you pick another hand. Let's pick 9-5 suited, and it'll tell you how much equity you have against that hand. So this is pre-flop. You have 63% against that. So if the pot odds are telling you you only need 33%, but you actually have 63, well then you call. And then you can put in like a flop, a turn, and you can see how your equity changes on each street. How do you know if you should push any two cards or not? It all depends on the other guy's stack. If he has a mega stack, he'll call anything, and he flips and you're screwed. I find that part difficult. That's right, 3bet. So what you have to do is, when you're doing the calculation, you have to just guess what his call range will be and change that range. So if in this situation, if he has 8,000 chips and he's a maniac, and you think he'll call you with 50% of hands, well, remember on the website, when I put his range as 26, all you do is you change this 26 to 50, right? You change it like this, click X, do another calculation, and I'll have to, it won't let me do it because I'm not registered to this thing, but that's what you do. You just change the range, and it'll change this any two to a range that you should push. Yeah, the program's linked below. ICMizer, I think it lets you do 1 or 2 free calculations, but then it will make you pay if you want to do more. These ones are a bit more advanced than the ICM Trainer. So yeah, this is the biggest mistake so far. Let's move on. Yeah, the range command for Nightbot, I had to actually put them in manually. So you can't just type in like range 13. I've only got it for 30, 20, 50, and 70. So if I get higher equity than my pot odds percentage, I call. That's correct, 3bet. That's exactly right. It's always comparing equity to pot odds, flop, turn, and river. That's right, 3bet. That's one way of, figuring out if you should call or not. How strong your hand is compared to the board. You can just, value bet. But if you're chasing a draw, like you have a flush draw, well, if you're on the flop and some guy's all in and you have a flush draw, the chance of you hitting your flush draw by the river is around 40%. So if your pot odds that you're getting are around 40%, you call because you have the correct odds. But if the odds aren't good enough, if his bet is bigger and you're getting worse odds and you only have a flush draw, then you should probably fold. just a very basic example. There are always going to be adjustments you need to make to those decisions, but you'll discover those adjustments when you get better at poker. It's a part of getting better at poker, is knowing when to call a bit looser than the pot odds, or a bit tighter. If you're playing a cash game, it's all about odds because there's no decision about your tournament life, there's no ICM. You're not trying to make the money, it's just all cash, every decision. What about outs? Well, yep, outs are a simple way of calculating your equity, right? So I'll give you an example. Here's a really easy rule for you guys. If you have, what you do is you think about how many outs you have. Let's say you're on the flop and you have 4 outs. You multiply the number of outs by 4, and that's the approximate chance you'll hit by the river if you're on the flop. And if you're on the turn, you multiply the number of outs by 2, and that's the approximate chance that you'll hit your out by the river. So 1 street multiplied by 2, 2 streets multiplied by 4. So with 4 outs on the flop, the chance of you hitting by the river is 4 times 4, 16%. And the chance of you hitting on the turn is roughly 8%. So that's a very, very quick way of you figuring out what your equity is in a certain situation. I love that rule too. It's a bit approximate, like it's never going to be exactly right, but it's a guess, right? It's close as you're going to get. Remember, you only have around 10 seconds to make your decision. Okay. We're not really getting any hands and we're getting short, so we just have to just wait for a spot to push all in. I would have pushed here, I think. Okay, so I would have pushed here. When you have 5 big blinds, that's really, you're getting a bit desperate. Because if you take the blinds one more time, you're going to lose 300 chips and you'll be down to 600. And then if you have to push 600 into a big blind of 200, they're calling you with any 2 cards because they'll be getting 2 to 1. So whenever you have 5 big blinds, you want to push around a 50% range from any position, I think. Maybe a little tighter, but around 50%. So Jack Queen offsuit is well within 50%. It's actually a top 25% hand, so I would push this. Now, if you put this into one of those calculators, it would probably tell you to fold, but those calculators will not take into account that next hand you're losing 200 chips from the big blind. So that's why I say to push looser here. I would push this. Pot odds, implied odds, equity, outs, when I fold a hand, when I time for and calculate my player, panic and just play. It just takes practice, man. Yeah, I understand, like, if you have 10 seconds and you're trying to figure out, like, how many big blinds you have and, like, what the percentage is, and you look at the pot, it just takes practice, I guess. 3bet, I would suggest, 3betnutz, I would suggest a good thing for you to practice your pot odds is to get in the ICM trainer. Every time you do a new hand, first thing you do, look at the blinds, calculate how many blinds you have, look at the pot, calculate what kind of odds you're getting. You don't need to do it in PokerStars or in your poker program, you just do it in the ICM trainer. Teaching your brain to do those calculations very quickly. Yeah, eventually it'll become second nature, that's right. Switch FPS. Yeah. I'm not going to get into that charting. It's FGS, you mean. So what I just discussed there, guys, where in the ICM programs, it won't take into account the next hand when you hit the blinds. Well, it actually will do that it's called FGS, which is Future Game Simulation. Factor in the next hand when you hit the blinds. But you guys don't need to worry about that. It's just a little thing to do. If you're, let's say, like here, in first position, you can click the FGS button and it will give you a different range because it'll then factor in next hand when you lose 200 chips to the big blind. Started very well. I'm slowly dying to the bubble. Story of my life. 3betnutz, it's just gonna happen sometimes, man. You'll quickly find out some games are just like this. You just get no hands, you get unlucky, and you lose. It happens, man. You honestly have made very little mistakes. The only mistake I saw was the one where you folded the small blind. Everything else you've played perfectly. There's nothing you can do. I can't fold here. You're getting 14 to 1, so you only need 6% equity. I would call here, and then if you flop anything, like any pair, any draw, just go all in. Yeah, well done. Wow. Well, yeah, you don't have anything, so maybe you can hit a 6 or something. No. You played that well, man. Last hand, let's just get it over with. King, Queen, no mistakes there. Bad luck, my man. You played the game very well. There was only one mistake, which was quite significant, you know. If you keep folding those small blinds, you're going to lose a lot of money. So just fix that small blind problem, and everything else is really good. You didn't make big mistakes. If you're having trouble with push fold, check out the ICM trainer below. There's a link for a video me showing you how to use it. I might do another game that I have in my email, or 180 man. This is from Sha Ting. I'm not sure if he's still around. It was like, oh yeah, he's still around. Must be really late over there. Yeah, 3betnutz. Sometimes it happens, man. There's not much you can do. If it frustrates you to have that happen, I would maybe suggest playing different type of tournament, like a single table tournament, because then you'll actually be getting in the money more frequently. Yeah, so that would be my advice. GG, man. You played well. Played really well. I'd probably call here, Sha Ting, just because it's King Jack suited and it's only a min raise, but it's not a big raise. It's not a big mistake. There's no antes, so whatever. I would personally would have called that. I'll make sure to put these reviews. I'll highlight them, guys. So if it's late and you want to go, you'll be able to watch them later on. You're welcome, 3betnutz. Good luck in the games. Thanks for joining the stream. This is too nitty. You're getting 7 to 1 pre-flop, so you know your pot odds are 12.5%. You really should be calling here just for the 30 chips. You don't have to go crazy if you flop one pair, but you're getting correct odds to try and flop two pair. Like you'll flop two pair pretty close to this amount of time. Or at least you might flop something, you know, that you can continue with. So yeah, I would have called there. Okay. Not playing that one. Not playing that one. Ace 9, 10 9, 3 9, 8 7, Jack 3, yep. Queen 2, 5 9, Ace Jack. Happens every time. Well, 3betnutz, I would say to you, how many games have you actually played? Do you know? Because if you've only played 100 games or 200 games, it's meaningless. You could easily be playing perfectly and just have bad luck. A lot of people don't realize in poker there's still a lot of luck. You can post if you want, Beans AA. I don't know if you want random Twitch chat knowing your email, but that's fine. If you're asking me, I don't give out my Skype 3betnutz. I don't want to get DDoSed. Okay, yeah, this one's fine, I think. It's only a 50-cent game, so I believe players in 50-cent games can re-push all in here with hands worse than ace-jack. Like he could have an ace-10, ace-9, king-queen, so this raise call seems fine to me. About 800. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. It seems quite a bad downswing. But from what I've seen in your game, in that one game, it looks like you're a pretty good player. So there could be something else that maybe we're missing in the late stage when the blinds get high. I don't know, man. If you're really getting frustrated, I would suggest maybe trying a new game. Just learning from there. Or you can stick around the stream and see if there's any other leaks we can find. Okay. Okay, 6-2, ace-10. I would probably raise here. Yeah, good raise. This guy's sitting out, so you're only raising into 4 people. C-bet? No, I would definitely C-bet here. My reasoning is, like I said earlier, oh, it's kind of awkward because this guy's only got 1,000 chips. Ooh, okay, I changed my mind. If he had a full stack, like 2,000 or something, I would definitely C-bet. But because he only has 1,000, it's a really nice stack for him to just check shove all in with anything. Like if he has 2 overcards, he might just check shove all in. So I like your check here to try and get it to a showdown. Maybe you can call one bet. Your ace-10 high could be the best hand, so I would again just check and try and take it to a river. And ooh. I mean, does he have a jack here? This seems a bit bullshit to me. If he had a jack, he would bet the turn, right? If he had an 8 or a 7, why would he be betting here? This just feels like he's full of shit, man. I think I would call here. That's a really good river card for us. I would have called just because his line makes no sense. If he had a jack, I really think he would have bet the turn. And if he had an 8, why would he bet 450? Maybe he'd bet like 200 with an 8 or a 7, but it just smells like a king-queen or a king-10 or 10-9 or ace-5 or something that's he's bluffing with. So I would have called here. But again, in sit and goes, those post-flop hands, you're never going to win a ton of money. So it's okay if maybe we differ on a few of the decisions. You just want to make sure that when you get down to the push fold and the blinds are really high, that you're not making big mistakes, because that's when you can lose a ton of money by being too tight when the blinds are big. Okay. Jack 9. This guy's all in. Just a fold, I think. Good fold. Queen 2, ace 4, 5, 8. Aces. Here we go. Good raise. Good little trap. You had less than 10 big blinds, but I like your trap there because you have aces. Well done. We doubled up. Next hand. Have to fold that. Fold that. Okay, let's raise this one. That's good. Good steal. Trying to preserve a bit. My problem, usually the other way at push fold. I don't know what DD means. You have to explain that to me. Preserving chips for push fold is pretty good. You know, you want to do that. I often say that on stream. When I make a tight fold, it's because I want to preserve my stack. So I think that that's fine, man. If you're not confident in making that river call, folding is fine. Like I said, it's not going to be a huge mistake as long as you're not calling, you know, a large amount of chips. Diamonds that miss. That's right, man. Exactly. Pocket jacks all in. This is pretty standard. 7-5. Okay. Nice flop for you. 4 jacks. Up $36 from $2.50. Benji. What a man. That's crazy. Beast. Okay, 9-5. Not playing that. Jack 3. King 2. Nut. King 6. King 2. Ace 4. Can't call this all in against an early position shove. You would be okay. You'd call the guy with 1600, but you'd probably fold against everyone else. Okay, Ace King, getting some hands. I'm really interested to know what you do in this situation if the big blind goes all in. Because if you're doing this as a trap, I guess it's okay. But if your plan here is to fold, then that's incorrect. What I would do here is just push all in. Because I'm not going to put in almost half of my chips and then fold, and you have ace king, so you can't really fold pre-flop. So I don't see the point of trying to be tricky there. I would just snap call. Okay, man. Alright. That's fine. No problems there. As long as you're not folding, man. Doesn't really matter what you do. Good night, Benji. See you next time, man. Thanks for dropping by the stream. Ooh. This one seems a little loose to me. Yeah, I think this one's a bit too loose. I wonder if I can find an ICM calculation to do this with. See if Holden Resources will let me do one. Like, I'm pretty sure this is like too loose. We have 13 big blinds, and there's 4 people behind us. Seems like, yeah, it seems just a bit far off. I think I'm done with my free calculations for the day. Let's see though. Yeah, Hold'em Resources slippery isn't what I'm looking for. It just does an equity. So I want king of clubs, 9 of diamonds. Okay, here's the hand. Okay guys, here we go. Make sure you guys can see that on stream. Yep. So let's put some core there's lots of ranges here that you can change. I'm just going to do the really basic ones. What is the cutoff calling me? Alright, let's look at them again. The cutoff has the giant stack, but you are pushing 5k. So I reckon these guys probably calling around like ace jack, ace 10 suited, pocket 7s. Maybe the small blind calls king queen suited. So yeah, that looks good to me. From the cutoff, the button, similar range, looks good to me. Small blind, he calls a few more hands because he's a bit shorter. The big blind, it's saying he's calling 92. Let's look at the big blind. He's only got 1,000 chips, but I think people in these limits still fold too much. So let's put his range at like 80 instead. I'm just looking at these other ones. Yeah, I'll just make these two 80. Okay. Oh man, okay. It won't let me do it. You can add the ranges. Yeah, I haven't done it online. I used to have the actual program. You guys might have to show me like where it is. Web calculators. This is Nash. This is not really what I'm looking for. Yeah. If someone has a link to it, just post it in the chat. Anyway, I might come back to that. I'll come back to the calculation, but I'm pretty sure it's a fold. I agree with Luigi. I think even King 10's probably a fold. Okay, 8-9's a fold. Ace 3. Okay. Limp. Okay, we'll take the free flop. Can't continue. Fold, fold, fold. Okay, queens. Yep, it's fine to... I want to show it on stream, Luigi. Oh, do you have... Are you talking about... You have the license? Yeah, I've got it too. I just have to renew my license. Alright, Luigi, I will... I can't post the hand because it's like a text file. So, sorry, man. Okay, pretty bad luck here. Nash equilibrium. Yeah, I know, man. Slippery 3. But the problem with the Nash is you can't change the ranges. And that's the whole point of it. Yeah, man, you can take a screenshot and send it. The stack size is just to be approximate. The 180 man payout. You're in the hijack. 13 big blinds. And yeah, the big blind has 2 big blinds behind. Something like that. I'll see if I can get a license, guys, so I can do these calculations all the time. Alright, limp, good raise. That's pretty good. I would think about making it a bit bigger. Like, you're only raising a little bit more, and he's getting 4-1, so he's never folding here. I guess that's okay, because you have position on him, and you have a good hand, so you don't care if he doesn't fold. I think I would make it at least 1800, but whatever, it's not a big deal. Good bet. I find it interesting that now you bet half pot. Like, you have the nuts here. I would bet it even smaller than this, maybe make it 1800, just to try and induce him a bit more. But those are just little sizing things. It's not going to be a big deal at these stakes. You just want to get the basics down. Good call. Pocket queens are pretty good. Must be getting... This looks like a final table game. Raise? Good raise. Ooh. Well, we can't fold. We're getting 6.5 to 1 in position. So I would just call and see a flop. Yep, good. That's a great flop. It doesn't matter what you do. You can call, you can go all in. I don't think it really matters. All in, yep, that's fine. Well played. Yeah, good fold. Good disciplined fold there with a weak ace. Fold. Hit by the deck. Nah, it's all good, man. There's still things to learn. All in. Yep. Good. Well played. I'll just finish this one off, guys. Then I don't think I'm gonna have time to play another 180, but I might play something else instead. Good fold there. Yeah, I like the steal. In the cutoff, you can usually steal any Broadway combination. You are committed to call against the guy with 9,000, but against the other guys, you're just trying to steal the blinds. I would c-bet here. An ace-high board's it's quite dry. It's a pretty good board for you to c-bet, and you do have a gut shot. Even against two players, I like a c-bet here. The easiest way for you to win this pot is to just bet 3,000 here, and these guys will usually just fold. Think about the hands that the big blind can have. We're not worried about the big blind at all, because he only had to call 1,000 and there was 7,000 in there, so he could literally have any two cards. The small blind we're a little bit worried about, because he can definitely have an ace, but there's still a lot of other cards that he could have that will just fold, you know, the king queen, the king 10, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm a little worried about the small blind, but not worried enough to make me fold. Okay, calling there for gut shot outs is fine, getting 8 to 1, and a jack and a 10 could be good for you. Bluff? Can you bluff here? I guess he can bluff here. I'd bet pretty big, because I really don't think that they have a 6. Nit. It's fine though. It's fine to check, but I would bluff there, because if they had a 6, they would have bet. So that was a free pot for you, I think. I think you missed an opportunity. I've got a 250. Sure, Chili, you can email me the hand history, and I'll take a look at it. Not tonight, but probably next stream. Not folding, so let's call. Seems fine. I mean, you could attack here, because it's unlikely that he has an ace as well, but it's going to cost you a lot of chips, because you're going to have to barrel the turn, so I'd probably just fold here. Ace 5 for sure wasn't folding? I don't know, man. Maybe. I think it's worth betting 2/3 pot on the river, and I think the ace 5 will fold often enough. Who knows though, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these guys are crazy. I shouldn't have a 6. Yeah, you're right, Sharting. You shouldn't have a 6, but in these games, these guys don't know that. They're just looking at their hand and they're saying, do I have a straight? No, I don't have a straight. Okay, I fold. They're not thinking about, what does this guy have? They're not thinking about that. So forget trying to represent hands. You're just trying to put them on hands and then figure out how to get their money. They're not thinking about whether you have a 6 or not. Trust me. 5,700. Looks like a good size to me on that river. What? Yeah, I'm not calling ace-king pre-flop, ace-king suited for these kind of blinds here. I would re-raise here and be very happy getting it all in pre. Always call with 2 pair plus. Yeah. It is true. What? We're drowning, we're drowning. Paging Gen Khan, we're drowning. The drowning move is the reverse float here. So, I mean, we have ace king high, so it's not technically a float because we do have ace king high. It's a value hand, but you play this hand very passively, and it's going to cost you the pot a lot of the time. Where if you just get it in pre-flop, I mean, A, he can fold, and you won't be in this really awkward situation, and B, you have ace king, so you could have, you know, the best hand. If you bet here, you're just trying to get like pocket sevens or pocket eights to fold. And I really don't think those hands are going to fold, so I just check and pray that your ace king is good. Yep. Pretty lucky there, to be honest, that you came up against someone who wasn't willing to barrel. You want to try and avoid playing out of position if you possibly can. So it's okay to play out of position sometimes, but this is not a situation where you want to just flat call and play ace king suited out of position. Be aggressive, man. Okay. Little loose. Yeah, I would just fold here, I think. Like, you have a decent stack, but the small blind can put pressure on you. You're committed to call against a guy with 8,000, and you don't really want to call that many chips. And the big blind has a nice stack to repush against you. It's just, I don't like these offsuit weak aces in early position. I just fold this, I think. If it was suited, I would go for it. Well, we're not folding here. The question is, do we just flat call, or do we turn our hand into a bluff and 3-bet? I would just flat call, because I think ace 10 is too strong to turn into a bluff here. Now my plan is to check and never ever fold. Check call. I don't like check raising, because if you check raise, you're only going to get it in against stronger aces and two pairs and really strong draws. So, like, straight flush draws, maybe like the 8-9 of spades or something like that. So I just check call him down. Check call, yep. Now, can you value bet here, and will he call you with a worse hand? I think it's unlikely. I mean, the only worse hand really is somehow he calls you with a 6 or with something like ace 8, ace 9. Ace 8, ace 9 would definitely call you here, but think about all the other hands that he might have, like a busted draw, king queen, or a jack 10 or whatever. I think overall you'd get more value by inducing a bluff here and letting him bluff into you. So I would check and let him bluff. Yeah, well played. I think you played that hand really well. You sent the calculation of the king 9. I assume that you mean to my email. Oh yeah, here you guys. Let's look at this, guys. Alright. Really small. For the stream, I mean. Can you guys... Yeah, you guys can kind of read that. So, we are... Wait. Well, this calculation is a little flawed, man, because you've only got 5 people, and you actually have to put in all players for it to be accurate. Well, I guess actually maybe not, because there's no ICM, because it's a 180 man. This should be close enough. Yeah, this is close enough. What am I saying? It's fine. All right, so cutoff calling sixes, ace 9 suited, button looks fine. Yep. So the range that this is giving us for this other king 9 hand is king 10 off or better. So, yep. If you guys remember from earlier, this is the calculation from the hijack push with king 9 off. You play out of position if you get great pot odds, maybe. If not, often you fold. That's right, 3betnutz. The only other situation where you'd be playing out of position often is if you are the one that's raising. It's chip EV mode. Yeah, that's right. Luigi. That's fine. I'm fine with chip EV there because we're in a 180 man. Yeah. So a little loose with that king 9 from earlier. What did that guy have? Eights. Eights, eh? I mean, with his exact hand, he might have called a value bet, but we can't know that he has a hand as strong as eights there. Another mistake. I just push this. I just go any two cards at these limits. As soon as you get under 10 big blinds, the only spot I might fold here is if the guy's an absolute crazy loose player. But most people are going to be tight enough for you to push any two cards, blind versus blind. Okay, Jack 4, 10 5, 5 3, 7 2. Okay, it's fine calling this, getting 6 to 1. It's suited, so we don't mind flopping a flush draw. Yeah, just check. I think there are too many cards here for you to try and semi-bluff that they'll call you with. Well, we have to call now. Yep, you played that okay. I would have played it similarly. Again, I think you're just too tight, blind versus blind. Even though it's 3-7 offsuit, there is 3,150 chips in the middle, and you're only risking 12,000. So the risk-reward ratio here is good enough for you to shove any two cards. Even if you put this into Nash and it'll tell you, okay, let's fold. I don't think the average player is going to call often enough. Pulse, I usually call in the big blind with Jack 3 off. Is that incorrect? I don't know what hand you're talking about, Luigi. You talking about the 7-2 suited hand? Oh, you mean blind versus blind here? Well, no. Jack 3 off in this situation is probably a fold. There are some hands that even if I have any two cards and I turn over and show you 3-2 offsuit and push, sometimes you still have to fold because of the ICM. So I don't know exactly, it'll depend on the calculation, but I think in this situation, if you were to call here with Jack 3 off, that would be too loose. Even if you know he's pushing any two cards, I think it's still too loose. Jack 3 is like a bottom 70% hand. Even if he's pushing any two, 70% of the time he has a better hand than you. I mean, yeah, there's overlay, so that's not the best way to look at it because of the overlay and the pot odds you're getting. But I think Jack 3 is still too loose there to call. You have enough big blinds that you don't need to be calling. Good raise. Yeah, I'm not folding this. Let's call. Good. I call because he's full of shit. He's only betting 3,200. So, I don't know. His story doesn't make sense. It's hard to hit trips, right? So you have the best hand here. Let's call. Yeah, nah, I don't like this. You're getting 4.5 to 1 as well. So with these odds of 18.2%, you only have to be right 18.2% of the time to break even. I think he has bullshit and airball like at least half the time here. But I'm the short stack. Yeah, Luigi, it still doesn't matter, man. Like, you don't need to be calling a hand as bad as Jack 3 off when you still have 8 big blinds. The pot odds aren't good enough for you to call that loose. I think there, a call, you could make a call with something like Jack 8 off, I think. It would be fine. What do I do when he jams river? Well, then you can fold. If he jams river, he's putting his whole tournament on the line, and the bet would be enormous. He bets 3,200 here, and you call. The pot will be 18, and he's got one pot size bet left. If he's got the balls to bet flop, bet turn, and jam river with king high here, then I'm just going to give him the pot, you know, on the river. I think a lot of people, what they'll do is they will they'll make this small bet on a board as a bluff. He's just trying to push you off with 1600. Same thing on the turn. It's a very small bet. He's just trying to push you off, man. He's trying to push you off your ace. And you're getting insane odds. Now, if he goes for the 3 barrel, well then maybe you can give him credit for a 4 or something. But there's no way I'm folding the turn there. Good raise. Okay. We'll take the free flop. This is a situation where I might think about bluffing and just betting the flop, donking out into him. It's hard for him to have anything, and you have a chip lead over him. So he's going to be very, very careful. He doesn't want to call and then call again on the turn when he just has king high. So I would probably make a small bet here, 2,000, 2,500, just to try and get him to fold jack high or queen high or something. If you check, you're kind of just giving him the pot. You're saying, here you go, take the pot. But because you have a chip lead over him, you're the one that should be putting pressure on this guy. I'd bet the turn now. Try and represent a 3. Yeah, it's too weak, man. I'd bet the river here. Like, you're not going to win by checking. Yeah. Just too weak. You're giving this guy 4,000 chips here. I'm okay with giving up when you're the short stack and when you don't want to risk, you know, a large part of your chip stack. But when you got 60,000, 55,000, just put some bluffs out there, man. These guys have very weak plays, so you want to take advantage of that. Okay, we'll limp here for set value, that's fine. Just try and hit a 2. No 2, we give up. It's fine. Okay, king 2, 8-7. Fold that one. Pretty close. I think it's a call. So yeah, I'd just go with it. Whoa, that's bad. Oh, good flop though. I'd bet like 10,000 here. I'd just bet. You want to get value, right? You don't want to give him a free look at getting more equity. I'd bet small, right, to try and induce. Bet. Yeah, 13's fine. Yep, that's fine. Well played. Good call here just for set value. Trying to hit a 4. No 4, so we give up. Yep, well done. Fold, fold. Ooh. I think this is a call. Yep, pretty sure this is a call. He's shoving 8 big blinds. It is in first position, but he's the clear short stack. And there's no one else left behind you to act. So, and there's antes in this, and this just feels like a call to me. Great call. All in. Yep, well done. Fold, fold, fold. Yeah, fold. Raise. Okay, c-bet. No. Too weak again. In a heads up pot in position, you want to be c-betting probably 80 to 90% of the time. And especially when you want to put pressure on these guys, you have ace king high, so if you get call, you still got outs, you're not totally dead in the hand, and it's a kind of board where it doesn't really hit him. It's unlikely that he called with, you know, a 5-6 or something that has a straight draw, so he just folds this so often. Well, lucky for you, you actually hit the turn. This is way too weak. You want to bet for value here, so I'd bet like 8,000. Even though he's very weak, you don't want to... There's so many draws there, right? You don't want to let him off cheaply. Make him pay to see a river. Okay, well, that's a fold. Alright, we'll fold the 2-9. I really hate folding small blinds, but 2-9 offsuit, I can allow it. Alright. I don't like this one, because the chip lead is in the big blind. Right, so he's going to be looking to try and abuse you. So I think raising 7-5 here is just asking to get 3-bet. I would give this one up, even though you're on the button. Oh, so I better look and see what happened. Raise, okay, yeah. Well, now you're committed to call the 3-bet. And... Alright, 3-way, we're not going to attack it. Seems fine. I really don't like the raise pre-flop though. Not folding. We could just rip it and shove. There's 10,000 in the middle already, and you have 70,000. It's a bit of an overshove. I'd just rip it in. You're the shortest one here. Yeah, and he made it 3x, so he kind of juiced the pot up for you because he made it 3x. It is a bit of a deep shove, but the pot's already 10,000. I just rip it in. Because now you're in a really awkward spot where he's got the chip lead on you, and he can barrel you off, and your hand is really awkward. Like, if you don't hit a set, you're going to call maybe 1 or 2 bets, and then you're probably folding the river. So what you end up doing with this is often you get pushed off the best hand, or you get pushed off a lot of equity. So I just rip it in pre-flop, because then, you know, whoa, this is creative. I mean, you're putting in a third of your stack. I hope you're not folding when he repushes. I don't know, it's pretty creative to do this. I think what I would have done here is just call, because it only costs 4,000, and then his bet's quite weak, so if he doesn't have anything, he's just going to shut down, then you can check back and see a river. Doing this is pretty risky, because if he wants to rip it in here with a 3 or a 2, you're in a weird spot, because you should probably call here, because he could still reshove with a flush draw, or a 3 or a 2, but you're kind of in a bit of a bad spot here. He was a bit nuts. Even more of a reason just to call. I don't want to do a weird raise like this against a crazy guy. Even more of a reason just to rip it in pre-flop. Maybe he'll call you pre with like ace-2. Yeah, I'm never folding my small blind twice in a row, so I just limp here. Hopefully do a limp stab. Raise that. Okay, call. Getting pot odds. Oh, that's a good flop. Bet. Your bet's... Yeah, okay, that's fine. Small bet's fine. Ooh, we induced a raise. That's good. I like your bet. Now, do you want to just call here and let him continue his bluff, or do you put in another raise? I want to just call, I think, and let him bluff. Good. Alright, that's easy. I wasn't folding. Alright, man, that's good. As long as you don't put in a third of your stack and fold, I'm okay with your play. Okay, it's fine. Now what? Heads up? Alright, heads up strategy is very easy. If you're on the button and you have 10 big blinds or less, you're all in. If you're on the button and you have more than 10 big blinds, you min raise. Very easy. If you're in the big blind, you have to decide whether your hand's good enough to go all in, or whether it's good enough to flat call. But button strategy is very easy. You click the raise button. Okay, well, king 3, we're not folding. I think our hand's strong enough just to call him down with ace high. You could put in a bluff raise, but what happens then is if you raise that flop, he might put in another bluff raise, and then you end up having to go all in here with ace 9. So not really something I want to do. Check, check, check. Yep, fine. Well done. Well played. I would have played that the same. Alright, so now the effective stacks are less than 20 big blinds. So if he raises into you, you should look to re-push all in with something that's pretty strong, and you can flat call some hands. With an ace heads up, I would just push all in here, because there's 9,000 in the middle, and he only has around 80,000, so he has less than 10 times the pot. It's a good risk-reward ratio just to push all in here pre-flop. Because now you have to play ace-2 out of position, and you're often going to miss. So this is what happens, you know. He's going to c-bet, and you're going to go, well, what do I do? And you're probably going to fold. I would have just pushed pre-flop. Okay, we're not folding. Let's just call. Eh, we have absolutely nothing. Like a backdoor 4 card straight draw and 1 overcard. I'd just give it to him here. I don't like the raise because when you raise there, what are you trying to represent? You don't have a set because you would have gone in pre-flop. So the only hand you're representing here is 10-8. So, or a really strong draw, but yeah, I don't like it. I just give up. Fold that. Let's raise that. Okay. You could bet here to get value from draws, or you can check back and try and induce a bluff. I'd probably bet because your kicker's really good, and I'd be happy getting all the money in because I think there's enough draws that he could have here to warrant going broke. Like he could have the jack, queen, he could have 7-8. You have a worse 9 like 9-8, 9-jack. If he has a 10, it's just like what are you gonna do? Good bet. Your sizing's fine. Defending queen 4, I guess it's okay. It's a little loose. But it's okay. We can work with it. Yeah. Not folding. Let's call. I'd call again. Just let this guy bluff. 15,000. Little on the small side, but whatever. Well played. Yeah, 10-8's good enough to defend here. Really bad. Anytime there's an ace-high flop and you just call pre-flop, it's hard for you to represent the ace. So I don't mind calling here because you do have some turn cards that are really good for you. Like a spade's good. Any card from like 8 to jack is good. Even the 7's alright. So I don't mind calling here. Three bet or fold, queen 4 off. Luigi, if you wanted to 3-bet that hand, you are so short with less than 20 big blinds. Your only 3-bet size is going to commit you anyway. So if you wanted to 3-bet with the queen 4 off, you would have had to 3-bet all in. And you don't want to 3-bet all in with queen 4 off. Therefore, it's more of like a flat call or fold situation. I think I would have just folded, but the flat call's not terrible. Okay, again, not folding, getting insane odds. Ooh, do we want to turn our pair into a bluff? Or do we just want to try and get to the river? I'd probably just check here. It's close though. We're pretty confident he has a draw. So he's only got a pot-sized bet left, so it's really awkward here. I'd probably just give up. Ooh. Yeah, you have to call here. He could easily have a missed draw, a missed spade. He could have something like ace, ace jack or ace 6. So yeah, you just have to call. Very bad luck. All in, yep, well done. Raise, call, okay. Bet. I'm not folding here. This guy loves doing this. He just donks out. I mean, there's a lot of cards on the turn that can improve your hand. Heart, queen, jack, 10, 9. So yeah, wouldn't fold there. Good. After he barrels again, and we have a complete blank, just giving up. I will just tell you guys, heads up's always been the weakest part of my game, so you may be able to find people that disagree with me, and that's completely fine. I'm just giving you my opinion. Wait, what happened here? Pre-flop? Alright, yeah, okay. You could just rip it in pre-flop with 12,000 chips and his stack is 90,000. So there's a lot in there already. So you could just say King Jack's a good hand. The bet, I think it's the best. Let's just push. That would be fine. But calling is also okay. Okay, my plan here. Should we check raise now? Alright, we got two options. We can either check raise now, and then we can hope he has something to continue calling, like a draw or an ace. If he's got an ace, he's probably getting it all in now. But if he has an ace, he's probably betting 3 streets anyway. So I kind of want to just check call and let him try and bet us off. Let him try and represent the ace himself. Raising's fine. Well, yeah, we're getting it in. Wow. Pretty unlucky, man. Okay. Again, our button strategy from hand number 1. Every time you're on the button, min raise. So yeah, don't fold here. I'm not folding this. Let's call. I don't know about this one. I agree that you don't want to fold. Okay, this seems okay. There's 23k in there already, so if you want to bet, all in is definitely the right size because you want to get him to fold the high clubs. If he's got a 9, he's got a 9. Like, he's not going to fold ever. And I'm just thinking if check shoving all in might get you a bit more value, but I think if you check shove, he might just shove himself. So I kind of like your play here. I think it's good. Hard to make a pair. That's right, man. I like the play here. We're pretty deep heads up. It's like 25 big blinds. Okay, we got a pair. I mean, you either try and bluff here and hope that he doesn't have a spade, or you try and take your 2 to a showdown. I'd probably prefer just bluffing. What the... Okay. This is pretty interesting because you can actually have the ace of spades in your range, but it's very hard for him to have the ace of spades. Yeah, I don't mind this. I don't mind it. And, you know, you could even have a full house here. This is alright. I don't usually make these kind of plays. I usually make the more standard bluffs. Like, what I would have done to bluff this hand is I would have bet the flop or bet the turn 7,000, 8,000. I think making these, like, raise bluffs on the river, this happens fairly often, where fishy players don't know how to fold. So this would work really well against a good thinking player, but in these 50-cent games, he's just going to look at his hand and say, oh, I've got a flush, I call. So, yeah, I'd prefer just the standard bluff there. Well, that's a good flop. Call. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He bet full pot, and you have 2 pair here on a pretty dry board. I'd want to milk a few more chips. I'd just call here. I think he missed an opportunity there. 2 pairs, incredible hand. Good all in, that's good. Call is fine, mix it up a bit. Bet, that's good, good bet, well played. Good call, king 3 is fine. That's a big C bet, so I just give it to him. If he bet small, like 5,000, I maybe would have seen a turn card, but not for 12,000. I'm not folding an ace heads up. I call, buddy. What do you have? Yeah, no. For me, it's a bit too weak. Ace 7 heads up is pretty premium. It's only 20 big blinds. I would have just called here. Even though it's the first time he's done it, I think he can still do this kind of move with ace 2, ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, king queen, king jack, king 10, queen jack. Like, there's so many hands here that you beat, and all you're doing here is you're putting in 8,000 and then you're folding, and there's the extra pot odds that you're getting here. So not only could you actually have the best hand, but you're leaving money on the table. Okay, we have nothing, we fold. Raise, fold, it's fine. Raise, call, that's fine. Check, check. Bluff, 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 bet, 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 please bet. Yes, good. A little small. I'd probably make it a half pot here just to try and represent a king or a 10. And I don't want him to call with ace high, so I want to make it expensive for him to call with like the queen jack and the ace high. Oh, nice river. Ooh. Okay, yeah. The sizing's fine. I think that's good. I like it. I like your river sizing there. Raise, call, c-bet, good. Fold. Yep, well done, that's fine. Raise, call, 3-bet? Okay, yeah, it's the first time you've done this. The only problem I have with this play is, again, in low stakes games, people don't fold pre-flop. So he's probably not folding, and you have queen 8. So all you're doing here is you're making the pot bigger out of position with queen 8 offsuit. I just flat call here. Bet? I'd bet, probably. Only because there are a ton of bad turn cards for you. I'd just be happy betting and getting it in if he has a king, whatever. Now I don't mind the check call. Whoa. Well, the odds suck, right? Because it's 2 times the pot. He was moaning in chat, so I switched it off. Yep. I never have chat on, man. This is really tough. Like, we kind of misplayed a little bit pre-flop, and then we checked, and we look really weak. So we checked again, and now he's just like attacking. He could have a king, but we have redraw, but the odds aren't great. It's only the queen of clubs. I'd probably just end up folding here, I think. It's just too big. 2 times the pot's not good enough odds. Yeah. Well, he would have got me, that's for sure. His bluff would have worked on me. Okay, all in, that's good. Nice walk with 2-8, all in. Yeah, no. Again, heads up. 4 big blinds, all in. Don't even look at your cards, just go all in. Call, yep, well done. Again, all in. Less than 10 big blinds, all in. Check, we'll take the free flop. Ooh, this is awkward. I'd probably just bet fold here. Bet like 5,000. Just to see if he's got a king or a jack or something. Because now we're in a really awkward spot where we're just playing a guessing game now. Does he have a king or a jack? And you're calling down with bottom pair. I'd rather just put him to the test. Okay, raise. Call's fine. Bet. You want to bet this. Whenever it's an ace high board, you need to c-bet. And you have equity, you have a gut shot. So, bet. Now we have showdown value, so we can check now. I'd bet for value, 2 pair. He might call with a 1 pair hand. Seems fine. Couple more hands, guys, then I'm going to call the stream for today. Fold. It's some kind of trap. I'd just raise. I don't like trapping with 9s. Because think about it. If you have a flop with any card higher than a 9, you're never going to be comfortable. So you need to just raise or shove here. Well, the trap worked, but he would have called anyway. Okay, giving up. It's fine. I'd probably prefer raising, but as long as you're playing the hand on the button, I'm okay with it. Again, you're checking flops too often. If your head's up and it's checked to you, just bet. In pretty much every situation. 90% of the times, c-bet. Raise pre-flop, c-bet. That's all you have to do, and it'll win you so much money. It's too weak. Now he steals the pot from you. Pretty weak. Oh, I don't like this defend. I think it's a bit too loose. I would just fold pre-flop. Okay, now I would bet, because we have a pair, and we want to charge him if he has draws like Jack 10 and flush draws, and so I'd bet here. Because the check call, any card from 6 to ace you hate. Any card that is from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace, any spade, all those cards are bad for you on the river. So I would just bet the turn and then hope he folds with my pair of threes. If he doesn't fold, well, I might improve, hit another 3 or a queen, or he might just check back. I don't want to check call here. I just think it gives him too much of the power. Now he can just put so much pressure on you. What happened here? Raise call? Okay. C-bet, again, not C-betting enough. Now we have a pair, so we can check because we have showdown value. That's fine. I would bet this 8 for value. It's pretty thin, but I think he might call you with ace high or king high or something. He might have called you there. King 8 suited, reshove all in is fine, heads up. Good play. Raise, that's fine. Okay. Alright, let's just give him this one. It's a bigger 3-bet than he usually does, so that's fine. Call the Jack 8. Check call. I would just check. Oh, I guess you can check raise here, trying to induce him to do another bluff. Yeah, because it's a paired board, people often they think that you're going to mess around with them. So I don't mind this. It didn't work that time, but I think it's okay. My normal play there would just be to call. I'd fold here because you have no equity. Okay, last hand. All in. Yep, call. Well done. Overall, Sha Ting, I think you're pretty passive. Probably too passive. You need to be more aggressive. That goes for like blind versus blind shoves, post-flop play, C-bets, things like that. But apart from that, man, your game's pretty good. Alright guys,